Okay, welcome back for the season simulation of the Season 12 Montreal Canadiens GM mode. And I guarantee I'm going to have to do this in two parts because I'm cooking some chicken in the oven. And I'm going to have to do this I'm going to have to split this in two parts as a guarantee in terms of recording, but the actual video should be unaffected. This is the first video that I'm doing since my team, the Carolina Hurricanes, are Stanley Cup champions for the second time in franchise history, and it feels amazing. I will elaborate more on my thoughts on the team and the postseason and the cup win when we do our first gameplay in the playoffs, if this team can make the playoffs here. I feel like that's a more appropriate video to talk out loud about my thoughts of the team and what they achieved this season instead of doing it through a season simulation. But this is the first time I'm sitting down and getting a recording done since the team won the cup. I've taken a nice layoff from recording videos, but we're back into it again. This is the roster as we go into Season 12. Pacioretty's still here. We re-upped a bunch of guys in the offseason that were unrestricted free agents. Duchesne, I believe, was one of them. We can pull up Duchesne's contract. I know he's 33. I thought it was a 3-year deal. It was a 2-year deal. It was kind of even better. That's even more certainty with Duchesne. If you give him a 3-year deal, that takes him to 36, and who knows what the drop-off for Duchesne will be like. I'm kind of hoping that he's going to be one of those guys because you can see the potential. It's not fallen away yet. I hope it takes a long time for that potential to fall away from Duchesne, because the moment his potential starts dropping, that 4.5 white star, as soon as it starts dropping, then the overall rating is going to come plummeting down with it, and you'll know that Duchesne is at the very end of his career. Duchesne is already headed toward that back nine, but he is not done captaining this team to Stanley Cup championships, and he will be the captain until he hangs them up for the Canadiens. So a lot of the same faces are sticking around from our cup win. I don't know how many. We are the defending cup champions, by the way, coming off of that victory over the Blues in that best Stanley Cup final best of 7 series. Who is the only new? Did anybody really noteworthy leave that was a forward? I don't think we lost anyone that was important as a forward. We add Tori Reinprecht. Now, this is a created player that I made for the draft classes in the GM mode. He was just sitting in free agency, so I scooped him up and I gave him a 2-year deal at $1.8 million. We're going to see what he's all about. He's 6'1", 203, power forward, right wing. He's just going to play on my fourth line to start the season. I didn't even look at what his NHL stats are either. So his NHL, and actually, you can see it here, but if you look in the upper right, I can do this and it'll tell you his career games and his career points totals. He's played in 7 playoff games with 1 goal and 1 point. Yeah, I'm guessing that playoff appearance was with the Islanders. It says here, drafted by the Islanders, 3rd overall. I don't even know if I just missed that. I didn't know that he was even taken by the Islanders. I want to blast right through this simulation, by the way. I don't want to spend too much time going over stuff. We're at the later part of this GM mode. The blue line, relatively unchanged, but who did we let go of? Begris is still here, Severson, Ronning. Remember, we got Ronning in the PK Subban trade that summer, so this will be his second season with the team. What did Larry Ronning do numbers-wise last year? He played 68 games, and just ignore 24-25. That's preseason going into regular season stats. We haven't played a game yet in the regular season here. But he played 68 games. He had 1 goal, 9 points, and a +5. So he was not a liability. I don't think he got into he did not get into a playoff game. He was a healthy extra for that playoff run last season. But he returns. The new face here is, I guess I got Benjamin Messier in free agency. He's 26. He's a former first-round pick by the Senators at 11th overall. There's just the numbers. The big thing for why I signed him, look at the skating and the shooting category. Well, the puck skills is there too. But I usually, if I go sign a depth defenseman in free agency, I want to at least get someone that can skate. I don't know if it's going to make a difference in terms of the gameplay, but I feel like if you can get a good skating defenseman, I don't know. I just have this vibe that I think it really helps the simulation. I really think it's going to help. So we're going to play him on the 3rd D pair, and that's the main category that I look at, is the skating category on a depth defenseman. There's the power play, a snapshot. Not going to go over all of this in too much detail. Penalty kill, just showing you our group before we go into the season simulation. The goaltenders will be Fucale and Jones. Okay, the main roster, just to show you the main roster, here's what everyone's being paid and who the upcoming UFAs next year are, just down the list. I'm not going to go over this, but I'm going to just show it in the video so that anyone who wants to pause it and see it, you can see it. You can see who's making what money, and you can see who is going to be expiring at the end of the regular season simulation. There's my cap space. I have 7.9 available in cap space, so that gives me the option to make a trade should we need to make one in the season at any point. And I also want to show what's going on with some of my created players and where they've ended up in the league. Okay, Noah Yosin, let's start with him. He's still in Philadelphia, 28 years old. He's got 6 years remaining on a $10.055 million deal with the Philadelphia Flyers. Will they make the playoffs this year and snap that drought? They got to get back in. Philly has not made it in a long time into the postseason, and they have failed to go on a deep run when they do make it into the postseason. Cale McClellan, unfortunately, this guy, look at the potential. It's out the wazoo for him. He would be a starting goaltender on any team, except he is playing behind Stanley Denny, who I'm pretty sure won a Vezina trophy last year. He won some kind of trophy for the San Jose Sharks. There's Stanley Denny. He is 90 overall at 24. What an embarrassment of riches to have in the net if you're the San Jose Sharks. He has 2 years left at $8.4 million. He's a second-round pick by San Jose. So when I just showed it for Cale McClellan, but where did they take Cale McClellan in the draft? At 5th overall in 2016. So a 2016 5th overall, Stanley Denny, a 2nd overall pick in 2020. And Kolzak Nikitin. I think this is the last goaltender that I created. He is still with the Tampa Bay Lightning. 2 years, $7 million deal. And just trying to show some of the numbers really super quickly of what Nikitin has done in his playoff appearances and his last couple of seasons. His playoffs has not gone well. An .888 save percentage. He's appeared in 6 total playoff games. Oh yes, Rod Severson. Not created by me, created by the game. 1st overall pick by the Blackhawks. The reason that Rod Severson is important is Chicago let him go to free agency. I missed him in free agency. I missed out on him. Could have signed him. Carolina signs Severson to basically replace Cam Ward. I wanted to see what he did last year. He had a .921 a season ago in the regular season. Carolina, didn't they make they made the playoffs? I believe they did make the playoffs, and he had 11 games played and a .915 save percentage. I thought they got bounced in the 2nd round. I can't remember how the playoffs worked out here in the East. Didn't they lose to New Jersey? I think they lost. Yeah, I think they lost in the 2nd round to the New Jersey Devils, because we ended up playing New Jersey in the conference final. And LA is stuck with PK Subban's contract, 35 years old now, still 86 overall with his final year of the deal, his 2nd season upcoming in Los Angeles. Did I show what Subban did? I think I showed it in the last recording or one of the last videos, but it will show it right here. There's Subban's stats. Made the playoffs with LA, but they were bounced in the 1st round of that series. Subban didn't have much of an effect either on that playoff round with just 2 points. At least offensively, he didn't have an impact. Henrik Tamernis is in Philadelphia for this season, by the way. He signed with Philadelphia in free agency. That's the defenseman that we lost on the blue line. He signs a deal at 34 years of age with the Flyers. So there's an updated look. Didn't we have Alexei Yemlin? There's a former Hab as well on this Philadelphia Flyers team. The Shen brothers are here together. Luke and Braden playing on the Philadelphia Flyers as well. Well, Loic Arnaud and the Coyotes, can they do it again? Can the Coyotes win the President's Trophy once more? We're going to find out this season. 2 years left for Arnaud on that deal. He's coming off of a 104-point career best season with the Coyotes. They lose in 6 after playing 16 games in the playoffs. Sidney Crosby is still here. He's 37. Is this the last year for Sid? Sid the kid. He's not a kid anymore, but he's still got that high potential. This is what I'm hoping happens with Duchesne. High potential. He's still a 94 overall. It hasn't fallen away yet for Sidney Crosby at 37 years old. But this is the problem. The Penguins are not making the playoffs. You know what? I'm going to try to trade for Crosby. I'm going to try to make something work. I will try to trade for that Sidney Crosby $8.7 million cap hit if the Penguins are not in playoff position by the time the season is winding down to a close. I probably could have held on to Marchand. At 36 years old, he's still a 86 overall player. And his contributions were 41 points. This was his second season. 23-24 was his second season with the Pittsburgh Penguins. And they still failed to make the playoffs. He hasn't been back since he won that Stanley Cup with the Canadiens. Maybe we should pry Brent Burns out of San Jose. 39 years old, much like in the real world, man. Brent Burns is still playing, and he's an 85 overall defenseman. What's the cap hit, though? That's a reasonable cap hit. I would pry Brent Burns out of San Jose if they don't get into the playoffs. That's another player to take a look at. But then there's Caleb Johnson, so there's my created player. Caleb Johnson now down to his last year on the deal with San Jose. Keep an eyeball on this player when free agency comes around at the end of the regular season. And McDavid and the Canucks, that's another question that looms large. Will the Vancouver Canucks make that deep playoff run that they have failed to do so with undoubtedly the best player in the game? What was Sidney Crosby? Was Sidney Crosby a 90? What was his rating? I forgot what it was already. I showed Sidney Crosby, but McDavid, let me go back to see what Sid was. What was Sidney Crosby? He was a 94. So McDavid is undoubtedly the best player in this game at a 96 overall, especially at 27 years of age. Axel Arneson also, was he signed to a new deal? 3 years. He never reached free agency with the Vancouver Canucks. I think they re-upped Arneson in the offseason and he never reached it. Well, Mark Stahl found his way to Winnipeg. So Mark Stahl did not retire. He is 37 years old. He signed a 4-year deal in Winnipeg after spending half of a season with the Montreal Canadiens a season ago and helping us win a Stanley Cup. Played in 20 games for the team in the playoffs, a big part of that Stanley Cup championship. Johnny Gaudreau in Calgary. There's Johnny Gaudreau, 31 years old. He has 2 years left on that deal, 90 overall player. The Flames also, much like Vancouver, I didn't mean to press that button, much like Vancouver and McDavid, struggling to get it done in the postseason. And it will be banner-raising time at home again against the Ottawa Senators here on opening night.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the Stanley Cup champions, your Montreal Canadiens.
Oh, I love a banner raising, man. I love to raise banners at the Bell Center. And we lose on banner raising night in extra time. So we lost in some kind of overtime or shootout. We will now take on Carey Price and the New York Rangers. That's right, Carey Price is still with the Rangers for a second season. He did not retire and remains a member of that team. All right, let's blast on with this. By the way, I've noticed that Weiss in one game played has 7 penalties in minutes. Damon Severson has gone down with a concussion. It is a short time out. All right, so we got the win over the Rangers. I had to put Ryan Murphy in the lineup with the injury to Damon Severson. It's only a couple of days. It's like he might miss a game or two with the injury to Severson. So Severson played in the Rangers game, didn't he? He got injured in the Rangers game. And man, why is the sim so slow? Don't tell me we got another injury. It might be that or the scouting report. No, we just have a player going down on waivers, although it's an interesting one. Matt Slater with the Edmonton Oilers. I'm going to pass on the player because I don't need it. And now Damon Severson can return to the lineup ahead of this game against, I already forgot who the hell we're playing. But Ryan Murphy was put on waivers. He cleared waivers easily. We're playing Sidney Crosby and the Pittsburgh Penguins, Brad Marchand and the Pittsburgh Penguins as well. 2-1 loss. Got to start picking up some wins. We're playing Washington. We're 2-1-1. There's a win over the Washington Capitals. We rematch with Carey Price and the New York Rangers, this time at MSG for this game. That's a 2-0 win, and the Rangers now fall to 7-0. It is rough for the Rangers team. And they have not won a game yet. And they are 7 games deep in the regular season. It's not fun times. And they really want to trade me Patrick Hornquist. Second time that Washington has offered Hornquist. We're going to decline that trade. I'm holding on to that first round pick because I might have a move in store closer to the deadline. Just depends on where we sit at the deadline. We got to be, I hope this team can make the playoffs. We got to be a playoff team. I want to play playoff games by the time we finish this regular season. I don't know why the sim is particularly slow today. It's been really sluggish today. It's a 3-1 loss to New Jersey. They get their a little bit of revenge for the East final loss, although a 3-1 regular season win doesn't mean very much compared to winning a series in the playoffs, especially in the East final to advance to the Cup final. We lost 2-1 to Columbus. Pacioretty is down, my top line winger, until November 12. It is November 3rd in the game. Well, this is just the injury to Pacioretty has just opened up an opportunity for Teuvo Teravainen to play first line left wing. And I don't know if it's going to work. We lost 4-1 to the Florida Panthers. Well, opportunity comes knocking, and I don't know what Teuvo Teravainen is going to do for this team offensively. I don't mind the loss, but we got to get it back on the right track against the same Panthers team. We lose 5-4. Max is back, but I'm going to sit him for an extra day. Oh, we got back-to-backs. I guess I'm just going to play Teravainen at first-line center for a couple more games. If we can win some games here, that would be amazing. With no Pacioretty and Teravainen playing on my first-line left wing, it would be awesome to capture a few victories here. I wonder if we are running Fucale a little bit into the ground. You know, I should probably pay attention to if auto-rotate goaltenders is on or off. But we won both of those games there in that back-to-back set. Okay, Pacioretty back. We won both of those games. We won back-to-back. We had Ottawa, and then we had the Tampa Bay Lightning. We won both of those games. I'm not going to look at any stats mid-season. We will just look at the standings somewhere along the way mid-season. I think Boston is a rebuilding team, when at least in terms of the team rankings in preseason, they want to offer me Nick Bonino. That's not these teams keep offering me a player, and Dupuis is an unsigned rookie that they're all interested in. So I'm going to keep that in the back of my mind for a trade deadline proposal. I may have to pry Brent Burns somewhere. Okay, so no, the Boston Bruins have a winning record. They're 9-5-0. They just bumped up to a 10-5-0 record now with that win over us 2-1 there. Oh man, I looked at it. San Jose is, I thought it said 5-9-1. They're struggling right now. Yep, 5-9-1 entering this contest with the Sharks. Do we maybe look at trying to get Brent Burns out of San Jose, get him a Stanley Cup? He's still capable of playing at almost 40 years old. He'll turn 40 during this season simulation we're doing here. We're close to the real world. We're playing the 24-25 regular season right now. That's what we're simming through, is the 24-25 season. We're getting close to where we are in the real world. Nelson Zajac on waivers, but not interested. I have my depth in the AHL figured out. That's a nice 3-0 shutout over the Anaheim Ducks. We're playing the Edmonton Oilers now with a 10-4-3 record entering this part of November. Almost American Thanksgiving, a huge marker. Then we get shut out the following evening, 4-0 by Edmonton. No big deal to me, though. But we're almost at American Thanksgiving, a crucial part of the regular season that will tell you a lot. And now they want another trade proposal. I'm not interested in Nick Bonino. I'm more interested, if Pittsburgh, if you're going to trade me somebody, it's got to be Sidney Crosby. If you're going to, I would wonder, what is Sidney Crosby's trade value? Especially, what if we get to the deadline? What's his value going to be like then at the trade deadline? Because at Pittsburgh, I'm telling you, if they're not a playoff team, that's a player I would look into getting right before. I feel like Crosby's very close to retirement in this game, but maybe he isn't. I don't know. What determines if a player retires in this game? Does their potential just have to drop to a certain point and then the player goes, yep, I'm done? Or do they have to reach a certain age? Is it age or is it potential related? But we're losing a few games here. We lost to Minnesota as, again, the simulation takes its sweet time. It's something that you just kind of have to accept, that the simulation in this game sucks and it takes forever, which is why I kind of hate doing these season simulation. I might have to change something. I got to look at this. So my backup goaltender Is Martin Jones playing any games at all? Has he started any games? He's played one game. That's a problem. I don't think auto-rotate goaltenders is on, but I'm going to give Zach Vicali a break for a game, and he will play. Martin Jones will start this game against the Detroit Red Wings, who are 12-8-1. Now that we have passed, this is American Thanksgiving, the 28th. I believe this will be the 4th Thursday in the month. Now, that's a big one. Damon Severson with a week-long injury, so that'll just be Ryan Murphy. So Damon Severson down for, he's going to miss 3 games. It's the second time that Damon Severson has gone down with an injury this season. We just replaced him again with Ryan Murphy like we did the first time. We play the 11-8-2 Maple Leafs, similar track record to ourselves at this point in the season as we meet past American Thanksgiving. Severson is declared back from his injury, but he's not 100% healthy. I'm waiting until he is 100%. I probably should rotate goaltenders, but I'm too lazy to do anything about it. So Martin Jones is going to play. Oh, Hamilton has sustained some injuries. I'm just going to go best lines, and now it's going to make me do the scout assignment. All right, 2 more games without Damon Severson, then I got to put him back in there, and I got to send Ryan Murphy back down on assignment. We win, get it back on the right track with a victory. Get me another one, we lose, but Nino Niederreiter with a pulled groin for the remainder of December. Oh my goodness, we keep trying with these trade proposals, man. I'm not interested. Back off. I don't know. I got to edit my trade block, probably. That's probably what it is. So, Severson returns to the lineup for this game against Chicago that we lost. Now we're suddenly facing a 12-10-3 record. I'm a little nervous if this team's going to be able to make the playoffs, as it is. And I'm telling you, God forbid we lose Matt Duchene or Su Kai Ming for any extended period of time at any point in the season. 4-0 win. That's huge. We got some days off as well. That's going to help Vicali. And Niederreiter not returning 2 more weeks until Nino is declared fit enough to play for the team facing an 8-15-4 Dallas Stars team. Got to get the victory, roll off of that big 4-0 win. We lose 4-0 to Dallas. What a terrible reversal of trend from the first meeting with Dallas on the season. That's the last time we will see Dallas in the regular season. Taking on the Colorado Avalanche. Vicali should still be in net. Although I should take a look. I cannot believe this. 96 penalties and minutes for Maximilian Weiss on my blue line. Make that 106 penalty minutes in a 3-1 win over the Avalanche. That guy, he's got the roid rage or something. Maybe that explains his size. He's on steroids. We are rapidly approaching the halfway point in the season. We lost that game to Chicago in regulation. Too many losses already through this phase of the regular season. Just way too many losses. 13 goals, though, from Matt Duchene. A nice showing from my top line center. 6-4 game with Carolina. What a barn burner that one was. That must have been a wild game to witness. Will we see Carolina and Montreal meet again in the East Final here in this game? How about the 28-3 Columbus Blue Jackets? Seeloff available, but that's Hamilton. Taking on Carolina again. We got a back-to-back with Carolina and Washington. And then I will take a look at the standings with Nino Niederreiter declared fit to play now. Another trade. Oh, I had Derek Brassard. He was on my team. He was on my team that won the Stanley Cup a season ago. And he ends up in Columbus. I'm going to decline that trade. In fact, I think Carolina tried to offer me Derek Brassard in a trade last year. I declined it. They sent him down on waivers, and I just claimed him for free. So maybe Columbus will send him down, and I can claim him for free again. That would be the story. Okay, updated look at the stats from this screen. The top save percentages in the league and GAA. I don't see a Canadiens goaltender on that list. Wins, Dustin Tokarski has 19 ahead of Fucali. There's a former Habs goaltender, Tokarski. Sidney Crosby is finding a way to get it done this year. He is in the top 8 in points with 36. So Crosby is enjoying his life on that Pittsburgh Penguins team. He may not be a trade target this year, but how about the emergence of Jonathan Toews at the top of the points list? Assist leaders, Bukestad, McDavid, a few new names up here at the top of this list this year. A little bit of a change Arnaud is top 3 in goals. Edom, man, he's eating them up with those goals. He has 25 of them to this point in the season. Loic Arnaud third in that list. Drouin at 18 goals. No sign of Connor McDavid, but like I said, McDavid's getting it done with the league lead in points, so he's feeding a lot of pucks over to probably Jensen there in Vancouver. The team standings in the Atlantic. We are outside looking in. No, we are the last playoff spot right now. If the playoffs started today, we would be in a wild card spot, but it is a tight race in the Atlantic Division. Pittsburgh is outside looking in right now. They have 31 points. So if you're wondering about the status of Sidney Crosby and whether I will make the trade for Sid the Kid, stay tuned, because the Pittsburgh Penguins will have to miss the playoffs or be outside looking in at the deadline for that to be a possibility. Brent Burns and the Sharks, but it is not going well either for the Flames. So those are two teams that are outside looking in, not likely to make the playoffs there, either of those two teams. So Brent Burns might be on my trade target list. Vancouver is hunting that President's Trophy this year, and they got some rough competition with the Chicago Blackhawks sitting at 47 points as well at this point in December, right before Christmas holiday. So how about that can McDavid and the Canucks get it done? Is this their year? Will this be their year? PK Subban and the LA Kings, they are right there in the playoff push, and Phoenix, they just don't go away. Phoenix is the monster that is hiding under your bed, and they don't go away. But then they shrivel up and die when it gets to the playoffs, and when it's the most important phase of the playoffs, they fail to get it done. And again, they offer me another trade. Zach Dalpe from Washington. I'm declining because I have bigger and better plans for that draft pick and for the potential trade deadline that is a few months away. We beat Buffalo 2-1 at least. We will be taking on the Detroit Red Wings back-to-back games as we just took a look at all the standings. So we're hanging in there right now. It's really close, especially in the Atlantic Division. When you can play and take points off of Atlantic Division opponents, it's huge. It is massive. As we are not simming past the Detroit game, as I was expecting to do. Man, Max Weiss is racking up the penalty minutes. I don't know. They don't hand out a trophy for the player with the most penalty minutes, but they should. And he would get it. I think he would probably get it. That's unfortunately what happens. Those penalty minutes, that's what happens when you have an enforcer at D that doesn't have a good discipline category. Oh, Jordan Staal from Carolina just won the Conn Smythe Trophy in the real world. As of the time I'm recording, he just won the Conn Smythe. That's a trade I could definitely explore. I'm going to do this. I'm not planning on making this trade. However, I do want to know... Jordan is 36, yeah, which makes sense because we're like a year behind the real world, so we're really close. He's got a year left on that deal. It's a cap hit I can take on that cap hit, but he just is not doing anything offensively. I don't know I'm going to decline this trade because, again, I want to look at, I would rather try to get, Sid out of, since I'm here, okay. Since I'm here in the trade screen, just remove Carolina. I do want to know, what is the current value? Oh, I kind of knew it would be. I mean, we don't have anything that would meet that value. Now, that first round pick right now would help us get a lot closer. But man, I don't know what you would trade out to get a Sidney Crosby here. We don't have anything that would matter. I mean, you'd have to trade multiple first round picks to Pittsburgh to get Sidney Crosby, and it's for Sidney Crosby as a rental. But anyway, that is something we will explore maybe in the future as they are outside looking in. Also outside looking in, the San Jose Sharks. Brent Burns has a reasonable trade value. I might do a trade for Brent Burns. But anyway, we're picking up. We lost to the Toronto Maple Leafs 6-4. And I don't think that we just play an Atlantic Division opponent. Didn't we just play Buffalo and Detroit in back-to-back games? And now they want to offer me Sam Gagner, a bit of an NHL journeyman, always finds his way back to Edmonton. No, that's not a deal that I'm willing to do. So we're here. It's January 2nd with games on the 3rd and the 4th. Yeah, we did just play Buffalo and Detroit on back-to-back games. I thought we just did that. This time it's the opposite. So we played Buffalo at home and Detroit on the road. This time we played Buffalo on the road and Detroit at home. And then we got Buffalo again coming up. So some games with Buffalo. I'm going to ride with Fucale. I'm kind of ride or die with Zachary Fucale in net. But if it doesn't go well here, I'm going to go to, again, they offer me Sam Gagner. I'm going to go to Martin Jones for a few games if it doesn't work. And I just got to stop being lazy and just see if auto-rotate goaltenders is not on or off, or make sure that it's turned on. We did get a crucial victory over Buffalo, similar record to the Detroit Red Wings. Would like to see a victory there as well. Just get a win, please. And now Buffalo is offering me Tyler Ennis. Teams are really after my first-round pick. Did we defeat the Detroit Red Wings? We did not. We lost 4-2 to Detroit. So we kind of win one and then we lose one. And we're gonna get 3 days off. Then we're gonna play Buffalo again. I'm gonna go back to Fucale for that game, and then I'm gonna swap him out for Martin Jones. Oh man, I should just laugh Pittsburgh in the face with this one. They want to offer me Brad Marchand. I've already had Brad Marchand. I let him go for a reason, so that's a no to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Though if you want to offer me Sidney Crosby, I'm all ears on that one. With a loss there goes Bertrand out of the lineup with a concussion for just a couple games. That's going to be terrifying. And then we lost to Buffalo 3-1. That's going to be Martin Jones getting in there. So Charles Bertrand is going to miss a couple of games here. I forgot to change goaltenders. It's no big deal. I got Fucale out of there for a couple of games. Martin Jones is going to carry the lumber in net. We lose, and that's a big one there. Victor Hedman's down for a few games as well. So there goes Hedman. All right, so Martin Jones in there. We lost 5-4 to Winnipeg. I don't know if that is a loss in regulation or not. It is probably a very tight race at this phase of things. And there it is. There goes this. There's the Su Kai Ming injury. We're missing Hedman and now Su Kai Ming. Sebastian Eriksson on waivers. It's kind of tempting. Good player, but he's 35, making 1.1. I'm just going to say no. They offer me Sam Gagner. Oh man, that's big. Hedman's back. Yeah, Hedman's back. We got to get Hedman back. No Su Kai Ming. Got to get Hedman back in here. And now they want Josh Bailey. No, I don't want Josh Bailey, man. I'm holding on to that pick. I got something better in mind, and this is without Su Kai Ming for almost a month. Hedman has returned to the lineup from injury. Duchesne is up to 19 goals. Fucale was in net for that victory over Loic Arnaud and the Coyotes. We're playing McDavid and the Vancouver Canucks next. We just got to get on a big winning streak. It would be nice for this team to get hot and get on a winning streak. After we finish this game against the Canucks, we can look at the situation as it pertains to the league standings, and specifically the division standings. Jensen is the leading goal scorer on the Canucks team with 18. That's a 5-0 win for Vancouver. Bad loss. McDavid probably racking up more points in that game. Edom is up to 28, but look at how quickly Jonathan Drouin has caught Emerson Edom for the goal-scoring lead and the Richard Trophy. We are outside looking in now. It's really dire, and this is where I might make a move sooner rather than later. Instead of waiting for the deadline, I think we got to make a move. I don't think we can make a play for Sidney Crosby, simply because of the trade value of Sidney Crosby. I would love to add Sid to this team, but the value for Sid is sky high, despite the fact that he's like 37. How old is Crosby? 37, something like that? I mean, he's getting up there, and but his overall rating and potential is still really high, which is why the trade value remains elevated. That makes me want to get Sid right there, because Pacioretty is done for the rest of the season with a 5-0 loss to Winnipeg. Brent Burns seems like the best option. I might have multiple trades in mind, but man, I'm really getting hit with injuries at the worst time right now. Man, Max Pacioretty is a tough loss for this team. So we're getting first line Bertrand, and if we just keep the losing, which we are, is it we're not scoring, man, but we're not keeping the puck out either. Brent Burns is a tempting option from the San Jose Sharks. I would love Sidney Crosby, I really would, but the value for Sid is too high, and we have good center depth as it is as well. We have pretty good center depth. I just think that the addition of Burns could be, we could look at that as an option. Fucali's going to have to be good. The whole team's just going to have to be better as we are approaching, of course, the All-Star break. And the All-Star game, who made it? So East All-Stars first. Who made the All-Star game? How about that first line, man? Arnaud, McDavid, and Bozon, an embarrassment of riches. Drouin, Crosby, Giroux. Crosby is... Wait a minute. Was he a 93 to start whenever we were just looking at him? I don't know. I felt like he dropped. Was he a... Yeah, he was a 93. It's McDavid that's a 96. Betts. That's Marty Betts. Kadri, Hanalski. I remember when Betts was drafted. I remember seeing him in the draft screen one year. Millman, Tavares, Backstrom, Hodgson, Duchesne. So Matt Duchesne makes the All-Star game. That's not a surprise. He is basically our team's leading goal scorer. Morgan Riley, Carlson, Kulikov, Smith, Martin, and Jordan Subban. So again, we already looked at the West All-Stars, but Arnaud, McDavid, Bozon, Edom, not a surprise. He was like right up there as one of the leading goal scorers, along with Jonathan Drouin. Taves, he was up there at one point. Ratty, Lipon, Galchenyuk, Coyle, Klimchuk, Faxa, Jensen. D pairs are Schultz and Doughty. Letty, Letang. Arnerson makes the All-Star game representing the Canucks as well. The goalies are Quick and Nedeljkovic, so Vancouver with some representation. Nedeljkovic, Arnerson on D, and of course McDavid on that first line center position. But what I wanted to look at, Taves is 92. Do you think Chicago's having a good year, aren't they? I don't think they would offload Jonathan Taves. I might take on Jordan Staal. Oh, they want to trade Taves. But why? His value is reasonable compared to Sidney Crosby. So we can just look at Sidney Crosby again. I don't think his value's dropped off at all. Oh, they want to trade him. Oh my God. Oh yeah, we're going to do it. I'm going to try to do it. Screw it. I'm going to try to do it. Sidney Crosby. We're going to bring him aboard. We're going to bring him on board. We got to start winning games. And it's game over for Pittsburgh. But who was the other one? Taves? No way. They wouldn't move on from Taves. You're in a playoff spot. Okay. Holy jumping. Things just got really interesting. You see that red for Sidney Crosby's name? That means Pittsburgh wants to trade him away, and they're not going to make the playoffs. This is the last year of Sidney. Here's Sidney Crosby as it is right now. He's down to a 4-star potential at 93 overall, 37 years old. He has 1 year left on that deal. This is what he's done this season. 17 goals, 47 points. His best season lately, 77 point, 27 goal year there in 22-23. They still didn't make the playoffs in Pittsburgh. So I'm going to try to see if I can gun it. His value has dropped a little bit off of what it was before. I think we could potentially get this done. Oh my goodness, man. The trade value for the first round pick is already there. And then I toss in like another first. I mean, Sidney Crosby's going to be worth multiple first round picks. And then there's a couple of players that Pittsburgh or that CPU teams have wanted. There's an unsigned prospect, Dupuis, they wanted. I'll send you multiple prospects. And some of them wanted this E-Lee guy. So Pittsburgh wants that player. And I'll send you, this is so crazy, I'll send you another draft pick. I'll give you a future, draft positions. I'll give you a future, man, giving up a lot of future for Sidney Crosby, a future second round pick as well. A first, Dupuis, Lee, and a second. That's prospects for Sidney Crosby. Do you think that the Pittsburgh Penguins are willing to do this deal to send Sidney Crosby to Montreal? This is the trade proposal. I'm about to hit triangle. Let me just compare a couple other things. Player overview at the bottom of the screen there. Contract info, obviously, we know that. We don't need them to retain any cap hit. I don't care. I can take on this cap hit, absolutely. I have a poor reputation with Pittsburgh. I'm going to guess that this is a no. And we'll revisit this at the deadline if it's a no. Is it a yes? Oh my goodness! I have done it! I have acquired Sidney Crosby from the Pittsburgh Penguins for 2 first-round picks, a second in the future, and a couple of prospects. Wow. I have done it. Sid the Kid is Su Kai Ming! Su Kai Ming has to give up his number 87. Okay, everyone move over. Teemu Pulkkinen, get out of my lineup. Get out of my lineup, Teemu Pulkkinen. You're going. Get the frick out of here. All right, Sid, you're going to immediately be first line center. This is freaking wild, man. Duchesne, second line center. Duchesne, Crosby's playing with LeBlanc and Kujawenski. This is going to be fun. Okay, this is really going to be fun. Moving Teravainen into fourth line. Power play, obviously. It's going to be Sidney Crosby. Oh, man. I'm moving Kujawenski off of that. Crosby, you're playing center. This is going to throw things off when Ming comes back, but I'm not worried about that right now. So, Monahan, you know what? Yeah, you're out of here, Monahan. Yeah, Monahan's just got to be the odd man out. Crosby. No, Crosby needs to be first line. Power play, Crosby first line. And move LeBlanc to the first power play. There we go. Four-man power play. Penalty kill. Sid, do we want to give Sid the penalty kill? I'm going to give Sid a break from the penalty kill. But, yeah, Kujawenski out for Crosby. And then Monahan, Niederreiter. I'll give Kujawenski that 4-on-4 line. There you go. You play with, there you go. We'll try that. 4-on-4 is not a very common situation. Shootout lineup, absolutely. Sidney Crosby getting in there. Who's got the worst shooting category of these guys? Man, I got to keep Niederreiter in there. Kujawenski. Nope. Can't do that. I got to take someone out, though. It's going to be... It's going to be Kamayev. I'm sorry, Kamayev. You got to come out for Crosby. What's Crosby's shooting ability? Oh, yeah. But we're going to move Crosby to, like, second in the shootout lineup. There we go. Well, I did it. I freaking did it. I just got Sidney Crosby on the team. That's a huge ad, though, with okay, that's Hamilton. With Pacioretty gone for the rest of the regular season, that is a massive addition to this team. So not only do I have the Singaporean Sidney Crosby, I have the real deal Sidney Crosby now. And Sukai Ming happily gave up his number 87 to Sidney Crosby. He will be wearing the number 85 now. I'm guessing he got like a Rolex or something in the deal. It's Sid the freaking Kid Crosby. There's no, wow, Clint Wallace on waivers. No, I don't want to claim the player. All right, so we play. Our first game is in Nashville with Sidney Crosby, first line center. In the lineup, we lose, and Nino Niederreiter immediately injures his foot. Okay, no Niederreiter, no Ming, and no Pacioretty. Those are all big losses. Himmelfarb returns down in the AHL. Still going with Sidney Crosby. We haven't won a game yet with Sid at first line center. We get our first win against the Minnesota Wild. I'm just going to go ahead and plug Nino back in there. No, I made my trade, Pittsburgh. Thank you for giving me Sidney Crosby. I am not making any more deals right now. Although, how good is this trainer guy? Who is this guy? Left wing. He has very low trade value. Let me just click on this. 81 overall. You know, that would be nice for some depth, I guess. And what are we? No, I'm not giving up this year's third. I traded a bunch of draft picks to you guys to get Sid. And that was good enough. Taking on PK Subban's LA Kings. Still in desperate need of a playoff spot. This is the addition of Crosby is due to multiple players being out with an injury. Specifically, Pacioretty being basically a season-ending injury for him. And now trying to make a playoff push. We just needed something to push us along. Hopefully, Sid helps us. Did we win? We lost 4-2 to LA. Man, not winning even with Sid in the lineup. 7 days until Ming. It'll be interesting when Ming comes back. I'll have that dilemma. And what's interesting as well is that Sidney Crosby obviously supplants Matt Duchesne of the first-line center position. You're telling me that I added a 37-year-old Crosby, but a 93... Might have to go get Brent Burns as well at the deadline. I'm really pondering that Brent Burns possibility of that trade because we're getting close to the deadline. We're winning some games. We're winning games. We won a few games there. I have given Messier, my defenseman, some time. Hedman's obviously down for a long period of time. And with that, Sukai Ming is back. This makes things really interesting with the return of Sukai Ming. Keep this in the video, in editing, please. Sukai Ming, he's gonna have to play on the wing because I like my center depth. Someone is the odd man out, and I'm gonna guess it's gonna be Teravainen. Look at this lineup now with Sukai Ming in there. It's a good top six. With Sidney Crosby in there, it looks amazing, doesn't it? So Ming is gonna play I'm going to try this. I'm going to try Ming on the first power play unit. All right, Sukai Ming back. Give me some wins. There's no reason this team can't win games. We lost 2-1 to New Jersey. You got to start putting points in the bag now. Louis LeBlanc is injured until March 20th, so there's a big one right as soon as Ming returns. Man, at least we beat Florida. We won 4-2, but I just keep running into injury trouble at like the worst phase of the season. I wonder if Duchesne would work out better playing still in your top 6. If it'll work out better for him, I'm going to say no to that. Playing, second line center, but still in your top 6. 192 penalty minutes for Weiss. That's crazy. I would like to see more production out of Duchesne, but I mean, he's still he's 33. There's no reason he can't score more. Oh man, this race is crazy, isn't it? 56 points. The cutoff right now is 58. We got to stay in this fight, boys. This is such an important phase of the season, running right up to the deadline, and then deciding what are you going to do at the deadline? Are there going to be any crazy acquisitions that we make? At the trade deadline, I would really love to pry Brent Burns out of San Jose, just make that push for that playoff spot. And we lost, man. We're losing big games. We lost in regulation to Toronto. We're playing Ottawa. Seeloff injured. That's the guy that got in there for the injured Hedman. So that's going to be until March 3rd, man. That's going to be Ryan Murphy. Freaking the injuries really are starting to suck at the worst possible time. Look at the injuries, man. 8 weeks till Pacioretty, 7 until Hedman, 5 weeks until LeBlanc. Seeloff, my defenseman, went down for like a month. Just the worst time for injury uncertainty with this team. The 6-7 win, 6-7 crazy game in which Duchesne did not score a single goal. I should have looked at Sidney Crosby's stats at the time of acquiring him. I totally forgot. Oh, the return to Pittsburgh for Sidney Crosby. You know what I'll do? I'll just look at his stats right now. I don't know why I didn't do this. Why didn't I pull up Sid's stats for the season? 19 goals, 56 points in 57 games. He's point per game, dude. I acquired a point per game 37-year-old Sidney Crosby. I don't know how many of those points came with the Montreal Canadiens, but he's hungry. He wants to feast and get this Habs team back into the postseason. I want to play games in the playoffs as Sidney Crosby, so we better make the freaking playoffs. That's all that I'm going to say. You guys better get into the postseason. There's just no excuses. I know we've had the injuries here. You can see the list on the right side of the screen. Those are all big-name players. Globkey on waivers, Modig on waivers. They are both no's. I'm not going to claim either of those players. Start a winning streak right now before Sidney Crosby in the return game to Pittsburgh. Stop the sim. Stop the sim. 5-2 loss. Are we going to sim past the Pittsburgh game? I'm trying to stop the sim. I wanted to sim out the game. We lost 5-2. Man, I'm just switching goaltenders. I got to do it. I got to do something. We got to do something drastic with this team. We're not winning. All right, I shook things up a little bit with the roster. Just some of the defense, the penalty kill a little bit. I mean, we're losing tough games right now. At a tough. Did I change goaltenders? I may have forgotten to change goaltenders. Oh man. I mean, it doesn't matter who's in net if you don't score a goal. This team, I don't know if this team's going to make the playoffs, and it's going to piss me off. I got Sid the Kid out of Pittsburgh, and we're going to miss the playoffs. I might have to make a desperation trade in a second to get like Brent Burns or something. I got to go look at the trade value of Brent Burns. It could be the perfect storm of just, are we going to lose? Are we going to lose to Calgary? Oh my goodness. Stop losing games. Oh, what are we doing? It's falling apart. I get Sidney Crosby and it falls apart for this team. I did everything in my power to help this team, and we are just losing games every which way. What is Fucali on? Is he's snorting coke before the games and it's not helping? I don't know if I can help this team. I don't know if I can help this team. We're way outside looking in, aren't we? We are quite a ways out right now. The cutoff point, oh man, we're 62 points. The cutoff point for the wild card is 65 points. We got to get to 65 points, which is doable. You guys got to start going on a win streak. It would help if we had a healthy Pacioretty and a healthy Hedman and LeBlanc. We're going to get Seeloff back soon. That'll help the penalty kill and the defense out. Okay, this is a crazy out there trade. And how long do I have Monahan locked up for? He's 30 years old. 1 year left. I'm going to try to get Brent Burns out of San Jose to help the defense out. I have plenty of center depth, especially with the additions of Sidney Crosby. I'm doing everything in my power to help this team out. We could send them Maximilian Weiss, which would free up a D spot. So there's Max Weiss. He takes way too many penalties. He's got 2 years left. My created player. I'd be sending him out west to San Jose. Here's the comparison of the trade value of each of the players. So starting with Monahan at the bottom, that gets us really close. Weiss really probably puts it over the top. And the 3rd round pick for Brent Burns. Brent Burns has 1 year left. This is everything about Brent Burns. 39 years old. His potential's dropping off, but he's still serviceable for this season. Joining Burns and Crosby on the same NHL team. How crazy is that? There's the production this year for Brent Burns. San Jose is not going to make the playoffs. And they want to offload Burns anyway. So it's just doing right by him. Do we think San Jose agrees to this? I think this is an easy trade. I mean, I'm willing to move on from Monahan. It's fine with me. I'm not too hurt by moving on from these two players. And Burns is purely a rental. I probably would move on from Monahan in the offseason. But here's what's tough about Monahan. He's an 83. He's got a great shooting category. He's got good, you can see the attributes for Monahan. But at 30 years old, I mean, willing to move on. He didn't grow as much as I was hoping he would. So I'm going to assume that San Jose accepts this trade. Is Brent Burns a Montreal Canadien? He is an absolute no-brainer for us. We're going to accept this deal before you change your mind about it. Well, there you go. I have made some crazy, dramatic moves in Montreal to. So I'm over the roster salary. I'm over the cap. Okay, Teravainen, you're going to get in there. Teravainen going to play 4th line center. So you can see my center depth took a little bit of a hit with the loss of Monahan. Maybe he reaches free agency, or who knows what's going to happen with him. He's out in San Jose, which is weird because that echoes what happened in the Calgary GM mode. He played for San Jose out there. We're going to add to our lineup Brent Burns. And, of course, we're waiting on certain players to come back from their injury. What was the cap hit of Burns again? It was a $5.7 million cap hit, but I can easily absorb that. I don't even know what the hell I was paying Sean Monahan. But with Burns in the lineup, that's an easy move for me. In fact, I'm going to go and play him on the first pair with Damon Severson. We'll see if Burns on the power play might help out the ability for the power play to come through. He'll play on the first pair power play. And Burns it does say power forward, but also if you click on this with Burns, it says D up in the left-hand corner. So Brent Burns is a defenseman. He does play defense in this game. I was okay. Well, I lost Teravainen off of waivers. There's the look at the trade that we made for Brent Burns. The game had to do a best, roster for me because I was over the cap limit. And we send Teravainen on waivers, who gets claimed by San Jose, so they also get Teravainen for free off waivers. We end up calling up Tierney. We sent down Ryan Murphy. Oh man, that whole fiasco with being over the salary limit with players, and that's going to get chaotic when players come back from injury as well. And just like that, Seeloff is available to play. But you know what? Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and edit that. Man, the loss of Teravainen doesn't bother me too much because, Teravainen's been kind of up and down as a scratch for this team, as a healthy extra. So that doesn't bother me too much. And hey, what do you know? We won a couple of games in a row now. Can we get into the playoffs with this roster and with this addition of Brent Burns in the lineup? I didn't even pull up Burns. I did pull up Burns' stats, actually, didn't I? So we do have Brent Burns' stats as he joins the team. There's the deadline, but I made my moves. I'll take a look and recap the transactions after we pass the deadline. We're going into Edmonton with a 30-27-4 record. Is it going to be enough? Can we get in, man? We got to get hot. That's a 4-1 loss. That does not help, as we are now at the bottom of the Atlantic, but still within grasp of a playoff spot. I'm not making any more trades. I've done all that I can to help this team. And if this team doesn't reach the postseason with Brent Burns and with Sidney Crosby on the same freaking team, I put together almost a super team. And we traded Maximilian Weiss, so Brent Burns takes over the most PIMs on the team. I'm not doing any trades, but we will recap the deadline after we finish this game against the Anaheim Ducks. It's so close in the Atlantic that every win from here on in really matters. Every game matters. Every point matters for this team. Player pick and trading, and there's the big one we made. Brent Burns to Montreal from San Jose. They acquire Max Weiss, Sean Monahan. That's my created player, Max Weiss, and a 2025 third rounder. We also acquire Sidney Crosby from Pittsburgh for Dupuis, a prospect, Earl Lee, a prospect, and 3 draft picks, 2 first rounders and a second rounder, a future first and future second round pick. That is all of our trades that we have done here in Season 12. It's been a blockbuster year, but now we go back through the deadline and look at all teams. Pittsburgh acquires Joe Morrow from San Jose. That's a defenseman. They get Graham Black from Pittsburgh, a first rounder for Ian Cole. That's kind of crazy because Ian Cole actually played for Carolina and then ended up going on to play for Vancouver in the real world after there was a particular incident some Canes fans can definitely tell you about. Scott Harrington from Pittsburgh for a first round pick. Are there any notable names going off the board? There's the big one. That's a pretty big one. Burnsy going to Montreal. Carolina acquires multiple picks for Kindle. Brodin going to Colorado. LA gets Beta. William Karlsson to Nashville from Buffalo. And San Jose would eventually go on to acquire... San Jose acquires Letang and Marchand and 2 others from Pittsburgh. I didn't even know about that. What were the 2? I wish I could see more details about the trade, but Tanger and Marchand go to the San Jose Sharks. All right, well, that's the deadline recapped. We go on with it. Did San Jose load up? Do they have a good enough team to get into the postseason? I mean, as far as I was aware, they are rebuilders that are not going to make the playoffs this year. What's crazy about this is if we piss this season away, we have a year in which Matt Duchene could be a 30-goal scorer by the time it's over. There's a win, and every game now, so from here on in, I think every game we check the standings as we're about to play the Boston Bruins. I mean, it's kind of out of my hands what happens with this team. I have very minimal control. All that I can do as the GM is construct a roster and hope it's good enough to get victories and get points in the standings. We have 5 losses in extra time entering this game against Boston. Almost a similar record to the Bruins. It's a huge win over Boston. All right, I told you I'd check the standings, so let's keep it rolling. That's a couple of wins in a row. It might even skyrocket this team. How about Johnny Gaudreau? He's right up there in the points, the Art Ross Trophy race. The leading goal scorer, of course, is Jonathan Drouin. He's taken over big time there. All right, we're right with it. We're in the playoff picture, man. We're right there in the chase. I mean, 71 points separates us, 2 points from Florida and Tampa Bay. Getting into that wild card spot. Head-to-head games with those 2 teams are going to be massive. Head-to-head games with the Bruins are massive. We just had a big, like a 4-point swing over the Bruins if we won that game in regulation. Boston, we did win it because Boston still has 5 losses in extra time. Vancouver looks like they're going to take the first spot in the Pacific Division, but we roll on with a game against Detroit. And who were the 2 teams I said? Was it the Florida teams, the Panthers and the Lightning? Is that the 2 teams head-to-head we need to pay attention to? Tough loss to Detroit, but we get some reinforcement with the arrival of Louis LeBlanc to the lineup. All right, LeBlanc, you're in there, and it is go time. It is on. It is on. Bang a gong, get it on. I'm loading up that first line. I'm going to load up that first line. Louis LeBlanc, you're getting up there. Load up my power play. We want LeBlanc killing penalties. I think he might be a better option at penalty kill than, maybe not. 88, 84, 89. I'm gonna stick with what I got there. I'm gonna stick there. What do we got? 88, 84, 89. Yeah, I gotta stick with what I got there. LeBlanc doesn't need to necessarily kill any penalties. Okay, 4-on-4. Ming. Okay, LeBlanc might be a good fit here. There you go. Okay, forget about it. Shrug off the loss to Detroit. It doesn't matter. LeBlanc is back in the lineup and not 100% healthy, but who cares? A chance at the playoffs is on the line right here, right now. Get in there, Canadiens. Get a win. Get a 2-1. We lose. And Seeloff has injured his foot. He's done for the regular season. Oh, I don't know if this team is good enough to make the playoffs. Seeloff injury is bad. I had to call up a 75 overall defenseman from the A just to fill in for the injured Seeloff until the end of the season. We can't get back. Who's out with the injury? Who has the long-term injury? Was it Damon Severson? I know it was Victor Hedman. No, we cannot lose these games. We cannot. I don't know. I need to change something. I just feel like I need to change something. We cannot lose these games. A few small changes. I'm not going to elaborate too much on them. Just small, subtle lineup changes. We're running out of time. We're burning out of games. It's March 17 in the game world. St. Patrick's Day. Pinch me. If we make the playoffs, you can pinch me. Happily pinch me. We beat the Penguins with Andy McDonald on waivers, but I can't even claim that guy. I don't have the space to fit that guy into my lineup anyway. Oh man, it's letter tight. It's so tight, man. It's so close. This playoff chase, 76 is the cutoff. We are right there. It's within reach. Head-to-head games with Florida and Tampa are going to be massive. Every game to the end of the season is utterly massive. We did get that 3-2 win over Pittsburgh. Something's got to turn it around for this team. We're playing Carey Price and the former Canadian and the Rangers, and he gives us a big 2 points that we needed. That's a huge lift. Thank you, Carey Price. And we have now knotted ourselves at 76 points with the Tampa Bay Lightning. How about Philadelphia clinging? We're head-to-head game with Philly. This is a massive head-to-head game against the Philadelphia Flyers, sitting at 74 points. We sit at 76. 76 points is the cutoff entering this head-to-head matchup with the Flyers. Make it a streak, please. Let's go streaking. And we did not win that game against the Flyers. A shoulder injury for Nino Niederreiter. I think we got a point in that game, though. So who's going to fill in there? Man, I think we got a huge point, a necessary point off of Philadelphia in that game. Yes, we did. 77 points. We got a huge point off of Philly. It could be the difference at the end of the season. We got to run the gauntlet to the end of the year. Hedman is back in 8 days, man. Seeloff out for four more weeks. Pacioretty out for 2 more weeks. Can we survive? This is the most nerve-wracking grind to the end of the season that we are ever going to go across. Back-to-back games here. 6-0 win. That is the elixir of life that I need. Pull off another one against Washington. Back-to-backs, please. Yes! Oh man, we found a goal-scoring touch in 2 games there. We got to combine. We got to combine 13 goals in 2 games in those victories, and Duchesne barely contributed in any of those games. We just went off, and we are up. We've catapulted ourselves to 81 points in the standings. Philly is clinging on to a lifeline down there. We can bury them. We keep winning games. Whatever we just did, keep doing it. Because 6-0 win and a 7-3 win. I'm going to continue because whatever's working without Nino, it's working. And I'm just going to see. Maybe Nino was the problem. And if we lose to Carolina, then the panic sets in. We won 6-2. Dude, whatever it is, Nino Niederreiter, you're not going to play another game for the rest of the season. This is unbelievable. We have a 6-2 win. How many goals have we scored now? 19 goals in 3 games? And Duchesne's up to 28 goals now on the regular season. And suddenly, the panic has turned into joy for me. From a nightmare to a dream. With 83 points in the standings, can we clinch it? Can we get in there, man? We've separated ourselves a little bit from Tampa Bay. We've separated ourselves a little bit from the Philadelphia Flyers, who are, of course, looking to go in. Do we have any more head-to-heads with Philly? We do not have a head-to-head with Philly remaining. We have an ending of the season against Ottawa. 2 games, I think, against Tampa. Both games against Tampa are huge. A couple games against Ottawa are pretty huge because we could still technically catch Ottawa. But we got to take care of the New York Islanders with Victor Hedman returning in probably a day. And there it is. Victor Hedman back. You know what? I'm going to sim past this game against the Islanders. Give Hedman an extra day to get back healthy because whatever we're doing right now, it seemed to be working for 3 straight games. And does it work against a 47-20? It does. We score 6 goals again. Some of these guys may never play another game for the Montreal Canadiens. Hold on, I got to take a look at the standings. We're at the 30th of March as we're about to enter the month of April, and we just can't stop scoring goals with this current roster as it is constructed. 85 points, that notches us at even with the Detroit Red Wings, 1 point behind Florida. This team went on a sudden run. We went on a tear. Out of absolutely nowhere, the Canucks are hunting a President's Trophy. Oh no, what happened to Phoenix? Phoenix is outside looking in. Oh my goodness, that might be exactly what the Vancouver Canucks need in this playoff run. Phoenix is outside looking in. So, I want to show this because this is what my lineup looks like. This is what my lineup looks like with the injury. Who's out with an injury right now? Hedman is out. Niederreiter is out. They just got back healthy, but they're sitting out because we're winning games right now. And I got Shishkinov playing on my third D pair, a 75 overall defenseman. There's my power play. There's my 4-man power play. There's my penalty kill. My 3-man PK. My 4-on-4 lines. My extra attack. My goaltender's been Fucali the whole time in my shootout lineup. One more game with the same group of bodies without Hedman and Nino Niederreiter. I want to see if this is real. This is an experiment. Can we score 6 goals and then we lose 3-1? So that time we actually that snapped the streak there that we had going, and it snapped the streak of some hot offense. How many games in a row? So we did lose to Philly. That broke up. That broke up. So we had a losing streak, a win against Pittsburgh and the Rangers. We had 2 wins in a row. Then Philly breaks that up with a win over us. But then we get 4 in a row, in which we scored. How many total goals was that? I know that was 19. Then we scored 6 here, so 25 goals in 4 games. It's pretty unreal, but then we just got the 1 there against Florida. And now I'll look at the standings again, because I got to look at the standings every single time. We're still stuck at 85. Philly's at 82. Philly's a big team to pay attention to. Tampa Bay is still in it. The head-to-head games with Tampa are so important. Oh man, I got to sim past 2 games here, and a big one against Tampa Bay coming up. I don't want to touch the 5-on-5, but Hedman's back in the lineup, so I didn't touch the forward lines at all at 5-on-5, or really even I didn't touch the forwards at all in any way, shape, or form. Hedman back in there. Oh, Hedman gets in there, and then Severson is hurt, and I had a good thing going with Damon Severson along with Begris in my first D pair, so that just means everyone just kind of slides up again. Hedman up here, and then Ronning slides up, and I got to call that defenseman back up. Oh, and Louis LeBlanc with a broken nose got injured in there. That's good. And Pacioretty is available to play in the next game. Did we beat? Oh my God, we won those games. We won those 2 games. Well, there you go. Those are huge wins over Ottawa and Tampa Bay. I don't know if we gave Tampa a point, but we continue to pull ahead. There's an updated look at the points leader. Look at the race for the Art Ross Trophy. Klimchuk. Calgary has 3. What have I done with Calgary? I gave Calgary some supreme scoring capability with Johnny Gaudreau on that team. Jonathan Drouin. Edom is chasing him down, though. He's close for the Maurice Richard Trophy. We are top 3 in the division with those wins. And a separation from Tampa Bay as well. We leave Tampa to fend for themselves. Florida and Detroit are the wild card. Philly with Noah Yosin still may not make the playoffs. Unbelievable scenes in the GM mode. Carey Price and the Rangers, bottom feeders. I didn't even think about that. Look how bad of a season the Rangers. We're gonna have to look at that. So, wow, Chicago has fallen way down the pecking order. St. Louis is outside looking in. Phoenix is climbing back in. Johnny Gaudreau in that top line are... Oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking at Phoenix. Phoenix is climbing back in, but Johnny Gaudreau and the Flames failing right now. I don't think the Flames are going to make the playoffs, but I'm worried about my team. We are so close, and we got another big head-to-head to pull more further separation from Tampa Bay. With Sidney Crosby, I got to get in the playoffs. I got to do playoff games because we got Sidney Crosby, we got Brent Burns on this team, and I also want to spend a playoff episode talking about the amazing season that the team that I cheer for, the Carolina Hurricanes, just had. They just had an amazing year winning the Stanley Cup, and I would like to talk out loud about it, but this is not the episode to do that. That is better suited to a gameplay episode where I can do gameplay and talk out loud about what I'm thinking. So anyway, we're playing Tampa Bay, massive head-to-head game. We win 4-1. This team is unreal in the points of the season. where it's needed to be. Another look at that top line for Calgary is getting it done, but are they going to make the playoffs? Another look at the standings. Calgary's getting closer. They're pulling back in, but they're running. I don't think they're going to make it. This is the last 2 games of the season for your Montreal Canadiens. Can Duchesne hit that 30-goal mark? Damon Severson is back from his injury. You know what? Let's hold out Severson because we're looking like we're going to make the playoffs, and I'd rather have Severson not re-injure himself, and I'd rather have him for the first game of the postseason if we're going to make it. With a 6-5 win, that basically seals it. We're going to be a playoff team. And I can figure out my lineup when we get into the postseason. We just got to play one more game, and it's against the Ottawa Senators. And there's nothing really to play for here. We're basically, there is something to play for, is we don't want to be a wild card team. We would be top 3 in the division. We would face the Senators if we win this next game and Detroit does not pick up a point somewhere. So outside looking in, right now the wild card is at 89 points. Philly, get in, Philly. I tried to help out the Philadelphia Flyers. Did we win this game against Florida in regulation? No, we won in a shootout. We tried to help out Philly. They have a chance. And then in the West, I don't even think Phoenix is going to make it. No, Phoenix is going to make it. Phoenix is going to be the last team in the wild card right now. Winnipeg, not catchable. Chicago, not going to catch. The Flames are not going to catch. So the Flames miss. The Sharks finish well outside the playoff picture. And the Rangers at 57 points are the league's worst team. So this is it. And then we'll take a look at stats, playoff tree. We're pretty much a playoff team. I mean, you would imagine we've locked up a playoff spot, right? We're guaranteed to make it. And are we going to be playing the very same Ottawa Senators in round 1? No, we lose 6-3. We didn't pick up points in the last game of the season. Let's simulate. Well, let me stop here. Let's see what that does for the playoff picture in the Eastern Conference. Oh, Philly, man! Not the Rangers. The Panthers are sitting at 90 points. They might get in. The Florida Panthers might get into the playoffs, but we are dropped down to that wild card spot, which I don't know what that means. So we're not going to finish top 3 in the division. The Red Wings will take on the Sens in the first round. Who do we get in the first round? And can Philadelphia make the playoffs? That is the storylines. We made it, and we will play the Toronto Maple Leafs. Who cares, man? Who cares about how many wins we got in the regular season? I got us into the playoffs with Sidney Crosby and Brent Burns on this team. The playoff episodes for this are going to be so much fun for me to do. So let's take a look at we can't see the final standings, can we? We can't see it from this screen, but I can show you from here. I'm ready to wrap this video up. I've been going for way too long. So the playoff tree. Vancouver gets LA. So McDavid and the Canucks get PK Subban and the LA Kings. And the Phoenix Coyotes did make it by the skin of their teeth. They made it in. They just did squeak in. We get Toronto. No, the Flyers missed out. I figured with Florida getting that 90 points, they were going to get in. So not a whole lot of change in terms of who made the playoffs. I mean, we've played the Leafs how many times in the postseason? We will do it again in round 1. Rivalry renewed. Then if we win this round, we will get the winner of Detroit and Ottawa. Now, we haven't seen Detroit since Season 1, which was a crazy series, that epic Game 6, which was the comeback Game 6. We've seen the Islanders. We've seen the Devils now. We've seen the Jackets in the playoffs, but we've not seen the Florida Panthers. So we have not seen Florida. We would only meet them in the conference final if we get that far. And then out west, St. Louis gets back in. St. Louis finds a way to get back in. The defending Western Conference champions. Phoenix looking to make it all the way to the Cup. The main storyline, I'm really hoping Vancouver gets to the Cup final, and I hope we can get to the Cup final again. I'm going to play on some bumped up sliders, so I will detail that ahead of the gameplay for the next episode. But we're going to play on some bumped up sliders. I really want to play against McDavid and the Canucks. My brain is like melted right now because I've been going for so long. I've been recording for so damn long, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. But I will look at the standings for you and just show you how the league shook out, who the President's Trophy winners, all that. So the President's Trophy winners are the New York Islanders. The Canucks missed out by 2 points. If they just won one more game, they would have been in that conversation. You win 2 more games, guaranteed slam dunk President's Trophy winners, but you can't complain. You make the playoffs, and you get that shot as the best team in the West. So here's the league. as it shook out by points. I'm just going to scroll through this. I can't even tell you. Philly, like I said, they just missed out. I can't even break down, who just missed and how they missed, but this is the standings. We know Philly just missed out by a point. I mean, technically, 1 point behind Florida, so if they just won one more game, they would have been in. St. Louis just scratched and clawed their way in. I don't know how St. Louis made it. It didn't look likely at one point in time that they would get into the playoffs. They get in ahead of Chicago with the same amount of points. Chicago had one more win than they did, but the tiebreaker would have been Rowe for St. Louis, I'm sorry, with 38 regulation plus overtime wins ahead of Chicago's 36. I believe that would be the tiebreaker that would have decided that between those two teams. And then down the list we go, Calgary at 84 points. Their attempt to get in at the end of the season fell just shy by 3 points. And a hell of an effort from Gaudreau and that line that was producing. Price and the Rangers finished with a 26-win, 51-loss season, 57 points. Is that the end of the Carey Price tenure in the GM mode? Does he ride off into the sunset at the end of the season? He signed that, or he didn't sign that deal. Yeah, he did sign that deal. He signed that free agent deal with the Rangers in free agency. There's so many storylines for me to keep track of. It's hard to remember who's ended up where and how they ended up there. But I do want to see, how did we finish in terms of goals for? So we were almost a top 10 team in goals for. The best scoring team in the league was Vancouver. That doesn't surprise me. They have Connor McDavid. They scored at a 3.37 goals for per game clip. The best team on goals against per game, we could definitely improve that. We didn't keep the puck out of the back of the net enough for my liking, but enough to get into the playoffs. Columbus had the best defense and goaltending. Right below that, the President's Trophy winning Islanders. The power play percentage is what we want to look at. Top 10 in the league. We had one of the better power plays in the NHL, so I'm very proud of that. Right behind the Vancouver Canucks. Our penalty kill percentage was abysmal. I don't know how we made the playoffs with a 79.3 penalty kill percent. The second worst in the NHL, and the worst team to make the playoffs. The worst penalty kill to make the playoffs, I should say. St. Louis right there, who's just scratched in, as well as LA. We didn't just scratch in. We did make it as a wild card team, but we had a hell of a run at the end of the regular season. In fact, our last 10, show me my team. We had 4 shorthanded goals for this season. We went 8-2-0 down the stretch to get into the playoffs. So that is the final line for season 12. Okay, the season 12 Sidney Crosby was a great addition. Ladies and gentlemen, he may have saved the season. Sidney Crosby might have just saved our entire season. 82 points. He was almost point per game. He played 84 games. He played 84 games. He was basically point per game. He played 2 extra games because of the trade from Pittsburgh. So he played basically the new schedule, which is upcoming this season. There is 37-year-old Sidney Crosby. It might be the last. This could be the last season in contention with Sidney Crosby. Pittsburgh gives him a shot at the cup. One last opportunity. You have to, because Pittsburgh didn't make the playoffs any of the years that any of these GM mode years. I don't think they've even made the playoffs, but like one time with Sidney Crosby in their lineup on their roster. I'm telling you, my brain's going, my voice is going. I've been recording for so long. But the trades for Crosby and Burns may have saved the season. Now, I don't have Crosby's stats at the time of the trade, but he was at like 50 something points. He came through in spades for this squad. His power play goals 9, shorthanded goals 1 this season. I don't know, again, I don't have the stats because I was a dumb idiot and I didn't grab the stats that he produced with Pittsburgh, but he actually excelled past his previous best of these last 5 seasons. I don't know what the one AHL game is about. It was probably a conditioning stint for Sidney Crosby. Pittsburgh gave him a conditioning stint in Wilkes-Barre, Scranton. But he excels with 82 points, the most in this span of seasons that you see here. 26 goals in 84 games for Sid the Kid. Not a kid anymore at 37 years old. Matt Duchene has now turned 34 in the game, and he produces 67 points. I mean, that's right about on par for Matt Duchene, a 29-goal season. We can expect him to score 30. He should be able to do that on a consistent basis. A bit of a down year on goal scoring a season ago. He finishes a +2 in the rating. 9 power play goals. That's what we need you to do. Contribute on the power play. Contribute in all ways and forms and fashions possible for the Canadiens. Still got 2 years left on that deal that he signed as a 33-year-old. Ryan Kujawenski with a 21 goal, 56-point season. And that's pretty comparable to what he has done in the past for us as well in the GM mode in the season simulations. Su Kai-Ming, a player that's so frustrating. I know he's spent some time injured this year, always seems to be banged up at certain points of a season simulation. But I expect more. He should be able to do that. 32 goals there, 63 points. He should be able to score 30 goals on a consistent basis. There was a year there where he got injured for a long period of time, and he was on a tear. And he would have had like 40 goals, one of those season simulations, and it just never happened because of the injury. A player that has a lot of expectation and a lot of promise, but just has not been able to fully live up to it, Mr. Su Kai-Ming. Nino Niederreiter, acquired in that trade from Minnesota. This is the last year of his deal. Might bring him back around. That is business that awaits to be seen in the off season, but there's the numbers and production, both playoffs and regular season from Niederreiter. Bertrand is a crazy one. This guy is an 80 overall that gave me 22 goals and 42 points. He had a 32-goal season right here in 80 games played. I don't know if he played that season with us. I don't think he did. I don't know how long I've had him around in the organization for, but I got 2 more years of this contract with Charles Bertrand, who is basically a third-line winger for my team, but has played in the top 6 at moments during the season simulation. Louis LeBlanc, will it be time to move on from a guy that can give you 18 goals, 39 points in 64 games? I'm just thinking it might be time. I don't know how many years left. 1 year, yeah, it might be time to move on from LeBlanc, but he's been an important part of our playoff runs in the past, and it's time to do it one more time with Sid the Kid and Brent Burns on this team this time around. Got to go out on a high note with Louis LeBlanc if he's going to leave. Brent Burns, I actually have the stats, 40 years old, still an 84 overall. The potential hasn't dropped off as sharply as you might expect. But it's not surprising to me that Burns, the guy with the Iron Man streak and everything, it's not surprising that he would be playing in the game world as well until he's about 40 years old. He contributes these numbers here that you see on your screen. And, what was I saying? I should have edited this out. There was a weird, feeling in my mouth. It felt like sand in my mouth or something. I don't know what it was. There was a weird feeling in my mouth and I had to stop. But anyway, Brent Burns, I do have the numbers that Burns produced with the San Jose Sharks at the time of the trade, so you can compare that. But I mean, 5 goals, that's probably as good of an output as you're going to get from a 40-year-old defenseman. Benjamin Messier, who is not a 40-year-old defenseman, gives me 2 goals and 27 points. His first season in proficiency in the NHL, I think. NHL stats. Did I pass it? There it is. Career games? Yeah. 82 career games. This was his first season in proficiency in the NHL. So how about that? You get your first NHL games at 27 years young. Damon Severson now hitting the age of 30 and will be starting to be trending toward the wrong side of 30 on a 5-year, $7 million deal. Gave me 25.7 goals, a -3 rating, 4 power play goals this season. There's the playoff stats with Severson, Max Pacioretty. And is this it? This might be it for Pacioretty. I hope he's 36. I hope he retires. And he's injured right now, so he will return soon for the playoffs. Maybe not for the first games of the series, but he will be returning soon, and he'll be playing with Sidney Crosby. That'll be really fun. Max Pacioretty and Sidney Crosby hooking up to create goals for the Montreal Canadiens. And there's the production of Patches. He just played 40 games this year, man. That's how much he was banged up this season. Hedman in 53 games, also getting on the wrong side of 30 as well. He's on the back 9 of that career, played in 53 games, banged up so much this year. Hedman with 3 years left on that deal. Denis Kamayev, 31 years of age, 82 games played for the 4th consecutive season, 20 points. His playoff production, he played in 20 games. I think that's all 20 games en route to a Stanley Cup in the last season, in season 11 there. Voivoda, the 27-year-old created skater for the draft class, and did I get him in? No, we drafted him. We drafted him, and we've been waiting for him to develop. I signed into a super cheap $1.6 million deal for 7 years. So he's got that security of guaranteeing $1.6 million for the next 7 seasons. He scores 11 goals. Playing on my fourth line, man. Actually got to appreciate the production on my fourth line. Another one of my created players for the draft class, Tori Reinprecht. The power forward out of Canada gets his first season with the Habs and scores 8 goals, 17 points in 82 games. That's pretty much right bang on for his past history and production. What's his career stats? 253 games, 31 goals, and 55 points after a season with the Montreal Canadiens. Teemu Pulkkinen, man, I'm starting to lose it now. I've been going for so long that I'm starting to lose it. This is what happens with these season simulations. And now I'm just going to show the stats without breaking everything down. I just can't break everything down. In the upper right-hand corner, I will show the contracts situation for all of the remaining players. And there's not too many. Larry Ronning, again, reiterate that we got him from LA. He was a 9th overall pick from LA. Got him in the trade for PK Subban that sent Subban out west. So kind of a masterful trade if you ask me, because we get younger with Ronning while LA has an aging Subban to deal with. Granted, they made the playoffs and had a strong season with PK Subban. And this time, Ryan Murphy doesn't get into a ton of games for my team. I only had to play him 11 times in the NHL this season with the injuries and everything. Seeloff didn't play as many games as I was expecting him to. Constantly injured this season. He just played the 13 games. He was actually down in the minors. That's right. He was in the AHL. You see it there. He played 37. And I actually ended up relying on other defensemen rather than Seeloff. However, I'm paying him. What am I paying him? $3 million to be an AHLD is kind of crazy. Shishkinov got into his first career NHL games this season, I think. Yeah, wait a minute. No, he didn't. He's played somewhere in the NHL because he has 48 career games under his belt, and he played 13 for my team this year. And how old is he? He's 29, yeah. Yeah, he didn't play his first career games this year, but he played his first games as a Canadian this season. So what about the goaltenders? How did Fucale do this year? Jones gets into 11 games, 78 games for Zach Fucale, which is just insano bonkers. That he put up a .272 and a 90.8 save percentage. Never got a day off. He didn't take any days off. This guy is the textbook definition of no days off. All right, super quick. Who won the Art Ross? It was Klimchuk. Morgan Klimchuk with the Flames. The Flames had the 3 best point producers in the NHL this season, and they still missed the playoffs. How much of that is down to 90 overall Johnny Gaudreau? A final look at Johnny Gaudreau for the season 12 simulation, 92 points, 34 goals. I mean, you can't pin anything on Gaudreau. He did his best to carry this team and get them into the postseason, but it did not happen this year. Loic Arnaud and the Coyotes did make the playoffs. Arnaud in his age 29 season, still got 2 years left, making $10.7 million. 90 points, a little bit down from the 104 points he had a season ago. There's his playoff production in 16 games. Unreal stuff. 12 goals and 21 points in 16 games. Look out for the Coyotes again. Drouin, McDavid. How does that compare to last season for McDavid? It is an 86-point year. It's just right about on par for what McDavid can do. Although the goal scoring, it's a little bit down. He did score 43 a season ago, and he's done it 2 years in a row there as well. McDavid, 8 years left, $13.6 million against the cap. Giroux and the Flyers missing out on the playoffs. Sidney Crosby with the Montreal Canadiens. Isn't it weird? That'll be fun to jump into playoff games. I'm just going to keep scrolling down the list, and you can see the production for the top point getters. You know, we'll do like the top, I don't know, I'll scroll, and if you see a name you want to pause on, you can feel free to pause the video. But who was the top goal scorer, which is what we're going to have to find out now. Who scored the most goals? And it was Jonathan Drouin. I got to actually stop the recording.